America has become a pagan society, and we are in a moral, emotional, spiritual freefall. When a school teacher cannot refer to the Ten Commandments on the wall, but can command your child to read Harry Potter, which is nothing but a precursor of witchcraft, we're going in the wrong direction here.
Let me say something about Harry Potter. Warlocks are enemies of God. And I don't care what kind of hero they are. They're an enemy of God. And had it been in the Old Testament, Harry Potter would have been put to death.
You look at the Harry Potter books, and as I said, they're so laden with Christian imagery and with symbols and with themes, with meaning that all come from a Christian background. Rowling has succeeded in smuggling the gospel into people's hearts, and they have this response to it. I mean, as I've traveled around the country talking about Harry Potter, I've met people that have read the stories 15, 16, 17 times. And I say to them, do you understand that there's a resurrection theme in these books, that love conquers death? And that you're having a response to that theme and that meaning. And they're shocked. Most of them are unchurched. But these books are so popular is because the human being is designed by Christ, for Christ. And these books bring that message to them.
Paul Young didn't consider himself a writer, but he wrote a story for his kids that has turned out to be a quick-selling phenomenon known as The Shack. In it, Paul shares a fictional story of a man whose daughter died under tragic circumstances and of how his world was changed forever during his greatest moment of sadness. The Shack is filled with lessons about tragedy and triumph, and it will challenge the way you view life.
Chuck Colson has written a review on The Shack, and I've made copies of it available for you. It's in our bookshop, and it's simply entitled this: Stay Out of the Shack. I love it. Maybe even more deceptive, actually, than yoga is this book. And more deceptive, here's why: because it has crept itself into a Christian acceptance. And maybe yoga has too, but I don't see the yoga mats selling in the Christian bookstores yet. And yet this book is. In fact, the author himself sent me a copy of the book, signed it, wrote me a nice note in it. And yet, as lovingly as I can say it, it's a distortion. It is a step away from what Scripture declares and describes God in an entirely different way than how Scripture would describe God, that would be a departure and a distortion from a true perspective that is based on biblical truth. In fact, the Shack would describe God as an African-American woman. And Jesus as, well, it's just crazy.